Lero bwacha bakamba mu kyalo ky'esu kya Zambia ekyaweka enjoy. Abantu baafo bakamba kule mu nfumbwe. More than 20 people balebe pati ni babiri. Bagamba. Fish to arufyanye. People have died. Mumino yabaka pakola. The police killing people. Why? In the same government, bagamba. Abductions have happened. Bagamba. If you're not with them, it's either you're dead or you're in prison. This government, you're going to change, big man. Fish to arufyanye bakubika mu office. Fish to arufyanye. Why me? Missing. Achani ruba mwacho and dishonor. Where is why me? Hey church, tell us with your government, where is why me? Give us why me. Justice for why me, big man. Wachila mo hey church. Wala tupwisha bega kutupwisha bagamba. Katwale kya kulanda big man. Why you think? Maana watata. Sambe tuwasevana. Bagamba. Wanesa tuwapweni. Mujalo chetu Icha Zambia Tuamona mwempwa Bagao Tuamona mwempwa Nama abductions bagao Owu muteko tualeta Watu lete lama Amazala mush No you can take Kola ipompa tudeka No you can take Apa nomba bade Mufolo pa mufolo Mufolo pa mufolo Wakuvota bade Mufolo pa mufolo Mufolo pa mufolo Wakufuatika Mufolo pa mufolo Mufolo pa mufolo Wakufuatika fuatika Mufolo pa mufolo Mufolo pa mufolo Wenyu taya kwa fwe Mufolo pa mufolo Mufolo pa mufolo Aikona man Mufolo pa mufolo Mufolo pa mufolo Itaya kwa fwe Mufolo pa mufolo Mufolo pa mufolo Yati kwenyu Mufolo pa mufolo Mufolo pa mufolo Mayona batata Mayona batata Bayuthi Tientwisuli amenso Tientwisuli amenso Batusendela nomba batwipaila na hope Yesu Endika chagwa lungu watubela tinali mikwatila plan B Nomba tuwalishiba plan B aba mmino ya kualesa Bantu banga abalafu muchalo chesu cha Zambia Nibanga abantu abala abducted mu kyalo kyesu kya Zambia bambire kuli jeje banda nibanga abantu abala ba prison abena kitotela kilangwa bonze baba prison n'entunguru kina shimbi muri one government yakwa church abantu n'abafa mweleza ayigata nomba bayigata kuli etika kyakwa lungu atukwatire plan B abakubo byabyo omufulo big man mufulo pa mufulo bilabine batsendela etika kyakwa abano babane mufulo pa mufulo Mufolo pa mufolo Wakuvota bane Mufolo pa mufolo Mufolo pa mufolo Wakufuatika Mufolo pa mufolo Mufolo pa mufolo Wakufuatika fuatika Mufolo pa mufolo Mufolo pa mufolo Wenyu taya kwa fwe Mufolo pa mufolo Mufolo pa mufolo Aikona man Mufolo pa mufolo Mufolo pa mufolo Itaya kwa fwe Mufolo pa mufolo Mufolo pa mufolo Yakuli yati kwenyu Mufolo pa mufolo HH does not mean well for Mother Zambia. Zambia to Asebana, this is not the Mother Zambia that we were left with by our ancestors, our forefathers who fought so hard to liberate us. Dr. Kenneth Kaunda, Nalumino Mundia, Mama Julia Chikamoneka, Simon Mwansaka Pwepwe, they fought so hard to put this country on the map, to put this country where it is today. No man would destroy this country because we believe in unity. Bamayona batata bapunda to one Zambia, one nation, and we shall together we will change, and we are going to change this government. My name is Blaze Zambia.
Please stand. When you were elected, you were entrusted to exercise independent judgment and uphold the highest standards of integrity, values of paramount importance. In seeking public office, one pledges to act in accordance with conscience and the public good. Parliamentarians wield significant influence over public and political discourse. It is incumbent upon them to speak with honesty and conviction, irrespective of whether their views are met with approval or dissent. When you say what someone has paid you to say, you are not speaking with sincerity. If it were your genuine opinion, you would not need to be paid for saying it. Whether or not you believed any of what you said at the behest of Voloshin and Medvedchuk, allowing money to corrupt your moral compass constitutes a grave betrayal of the trust vested in you by the electorate. Your misconduct has ramifications far beyond personal honour, which is now irretrievably damaged. It erodes public confidence in democracy. When politicians succumb to financial inducement, the public can no longer rely on the veracity of political debate, which may be tainted by disinformation. The enlisting of fellow representatives into this activity compounds the wrongdoing, undermining the mutual trust essential to the proper functioning of democratic institutions. The corrosive damage to public life caused by such actions is enduring. The court regards bribery as a malignancy at the heart of public life, one that impoverishes the national interest. Those entrusted with public leadership are required to adhere to the highest standards of probity. The law will respond to such breaches with stern punishment, both to mark society's condemnation and to deter others from similar transgressions. The sentence on count 2 is 5 years imprisonment. The sentence on all other counts except count 4 is 5 years concurrent. The sentence on count 4 is 5.5 years consecutive, making a total sentence of 10.5 years. You will be eligible for release on licence after serving half the term, and you must abide by the conditions of the licence until the full sentence is served. Please go down, Mr. Gill.
Thank you very much on this wonderful day, Sunday. Welcome to today's broadcast. Today we are privileged that we are hosting Honorable Mutotwe Kafwaya. Is Lunte MP, is former Minister of Transport and Communications, and he's a presidential candidate of the Patriotic Front. We are discussing the state of the country, and I deliberately played that video because Honorable Mutotwe Kafwaya is an MP, and some of the MPs made a shocking decision to vote for a bill the courts deemed illegal, a process that was not followed, a contentious, controversial Bill 7 that has now become part of the new amended constitution. And there were allegations that some MPs were bought to make the vote they made. So I picked the case of UK Member of Parliament and Welsh Reform leader Nathan Gill, who was sentenced to 10.5 years for accepting a bribe of £40,000, to then make certain speeches and vote in a certain way. The key details are that the Reform leader, Nathan Gill, was sentenced for 10 years. He took money from some businessman from Ukraine that he could speak well of Russia in the parliament, in the European Parliament, because there were voting taking place between the issue of Russia and Ukraine war. Here in Zambia, we had MPs accused of having not £40,000, which is about $70,000 to $80,000, $150,000 each to vote for that bill. So I will start. Let me invite my guest, Honorable Mutotwe Kafwaya, that I bring him on board. He he walks us through the issues happening at Parliament. Honorable Mtoto Kafwaya, good evening and welcome to today's broadcast.
Good evening. Thank you so much, Ambassador. I'm very, very pleased that you could have me today, and Happy New Year to you. Happy New Year to all of the people that are listening to us. And yes, I am happy that you asked regarding the voting of Bill 7. But if you allow me, just let me start by stating that the former First Lady, Mrs. Esther Lum, is still mourning her husband. Her husband's dead body is a subject of litigation in South African courts at the direction of the Zambian government. And so I continue thinking about her, I continue praying for her, hoping that the Lord God Almighty continue strengthening her. It has been too long a difficult period. I think humanly speaking, it's heavy. She requires our support. Coming to your question, Ambassador, important for us elected individuals to transact business based on conscience. We have to be certain that our actions are in public interest. Our actions are in the interest of those people who took us to the National Assembly of Zambia. And, excuse me, and I didn't vote for Bill 7. I can't vote for it even if it came in the night when I'm not fully awake. And I don't regret not having voting for it. I'm actually very proud. The reason I am proud I did not vote for Bill 7 is because, firstly, the law itself is illegal. There is a court judgment which declared that the process that government undertook to arrive or to come and draft that law was an illegal process. So anybody who can project or who can translate that will tell you that you cannot come with a legal bill by utilizing or deploying an illegal process. So that bill remains illegal today. Even the act which came out, that is Act number 13 of 2025, is an illegal act. So clearly for me, I am happy. But other than that, Ambassador, if you think of the implications of Bill 7, the actualization or the implementation of Bill 7, you are talking about an addition of 70 constituencies to the current 156. You are talking about an addition of 40 members of parliament who would go to parliament through what they are calling proportional representation. You are also of an addition of 3 members of parliament to be nominated. Remember, the president already has the right to nominate 8 members, but Bill 7 has given him 3 more. So the president can nominate 11 members of parliament. You put together all those numbers, you are coming to 113. So this is the new number of parliamentarians that are going to the National Assembly of Zambia. Ambassador Emmanuel, I want you to think through 113 members of parliament to go and sit in that small chamber is virtually impossible. So immediately what you are saying is that that chamber has to be expanded via some sort of development, or the National Assembly of Zambia should be hiring another location where all these members can fit to transact business. But for that to you have to make it conducive for parliamentary business. So again, you are talking about an investment in that area. Outside of that, do you know the compensation that will go with an additional 113 members of parliament? That is too much. Can I also add by telling you that every member of parliament like myself who was elected in a constituency, we have constituency offices, and those offices are resourced offices. You have got 4 workers at the constituency office. So it's an addition of 7 constituencies to employ 4 workers. And now, in addition to the member of parliament himself or herself, these people will have to be compensated at standard rates. The same compensations that all other support staff in other constituency offices are actually compensated with. Now, when you look at that, then you look at the requirement for office space for the additional 70 constituencies. These constituencies have to have constituency offices. That means the National Assembly of Zambia has to build 70 new offices across the country, or they should hire 70 new offices. Those are financial implications. Now, expanding an operation to that magnitude requires management support. It immediately implies that even at the National Assembly headquarters, there has to be capacity expansion to be able to manage this expanded structure down there at parliamentary level. I see that government did not think through. Last time you hosted me, Ambassador Emmanuel, we talked briefly about the 2026 budget. If I remind you, I'll tell you that this 2026 budget, which began on the 1st of January and will end on the 31st of December of this year, is 253.1 billion kwacha. Compare that to the budget for 2021 when PF left office, 119.6 billion. So government expenditure, government spending in this space has grown 213%. In 4 years, government expenditure has grown 214%. Now, 214% growth does not even include this expansion we are talking about in terms of the National Assembly of Zambia. That means you will have to think of other sources or other ways of expanding this already astronomical government. And so when the president talks about dribbling them, I think that we ought to, the one who has been dribbled is a taxpayer, because all of this cost that I have been able to calculate more will have to be funded by the taxpayer. It doesn't matter whether the government borrows. At the end of the day, the taxpayer has to take care of that debt. So the taxpayer is the one who has been duped. The taxpayer is the one who has been dribbled by the president. And I felt very sorry when the president spoke like that in Choma at a rally the other day. Given
yes,
all
in fact,
of these and
in
more
fact,
facts,
I was coming to that. The remarks by the president, clearly very unfortunate, but they fit into the concerns of everyone. Everyone had said this bill was manipulated, court process was ignored, and the president really just confirmed that. What were your feelings before you answer? Let me just play the president's views.
Very simple, extremely simple, very simple message. When they shout more, Adeba, Mbuti, Sajitika Buti, Ndabalanga Ndama, Bagankagalo now. Bagankagalo now, Bahibunjak. Toileta Bill 7. Toileta Bill 7. gutonde yaluyando love guli bamaga into batali kunjira mu parliament twaleta bill 7 bama MPs aba bayihotera ndaga banyunya buli benzuma mbamwe bali weta magana buli mbui anu baganza kuvota against bill 7 ndabalanga gaindi meshushushu number 1 ndasondela ndati wabeya kuyuma namba pa iba independent banyambosaba iba PF banji sebotoba UPND twawete bo mahoti 98 mahoti agali wendika kuti bill 7 inde ngu 111 mwaterera kwa kuti we needed a minimum of, if you like, to be honest, 13 votes. 98 kuti tuhige 100, 2 more votes akalansengwe. Kuti tuhige 111 ali 11 ambi akalansengwe. 2 plus 11 nguni 13 batali beso. So ndalanga vamwe bawetedwa anu kuti
the president boasted about how he came up with the numbers. He says we only have 98 MPs and Bill 7 requires 2/3 majority and he needed 13 MPs, but he had up to 136 MPs voted for it. Of course, there were various allegations of concern that, number one, the process was manipulated. A number of MPs, some were taken to Livingston, some to Lower Zambezi, and an amount of $150,000 has been banded around. How do we know? Because they were making these proposals to everyone. Honorable Mtoto Kafwaya, why didn't you vote for Bill 7? Did anyone also bring overtures to you like they did to the other MPs that were coerced and voted for it?
Thank you so much, Ambassador. Ambassador, there is your evidence. The president is speaking about what he needed, speaking about dribbling. And earlier, I did state that the people who were dribbled are the taxpayers, those who fund the public spending, which has gone out of the roof as we speak right now, and it is yet to expand without, very good justification. It is a justification, illegal process, and a process that does not incorporate, proper thinking. Now, if you think at the time the president was speaking, farmers had not been paid. I heard an announcement yesterday that 99% of farmers have been paid. If that is true, that is fair. But government promised to pay 100%. It is incorrect for government to start saying we have paid 99% with all the excuses that they have been giving. They have accused banks of not performing in the manner banks perform. Now the government has only paid 99%. So if government had not paid farmers at that point, it was irresponsible for the president to even start talking about expanding, public spending. If you think about the situation in our hospitals and clinics across the country, it is totally irresponsible for government to be talking about expanding, public spending, not in those need areas, but in leadership, in government. Is the president telling us that the current structure, the current numbers has failed to govern this country for them to be expanding, the cost of leadership in this fashion? It's impossible. What is his justification? As far as I could hear, I could be wrong. He's saying he did so in order to show love to the women who are not able to go to government. Listen to me. 70 elected MPs are not women. Those will depend on the people who will be adopted by political parties. The 3 nominated people are not women. There's no evidence in the past that a president has nominated only women. As a matter of fact, in this parliament, which is in existence, the president, as far as I can me, has only nominated 2 women out of 8 positions. So you can't say you are showing love to the women by creating 70 constituencies. You cannot tell me you are showing love to the women by creating 3 nominations to add to 8. You cannot tell me you are showing love to the women by creating 40 positions when in fact women are only taking 20. So clearly, the justification for this adjustment does not tie into what has happened. And in any case, if you are showing love to the women and you want those 20 women to go to parliament, what love are you showing to the taxpayers? The taxpayers whose taxes are so high right now, the only players whose taxes are low are mining conglomerates. So tell me what you are telling the taxpayers. You are saying that for the taxpayers it's okay, I'll hammer you in order for us to take 20 women to parliament. I find that irresponsible. And for that and many other reasons, Emmanuel, I am happy that I did not participate. This is a process in which I cannot participate.
Thank you very much. We salute you for that courageous, honorable, and credible decision you made. And I think that the people of Lunte are happy with you. Before we go to the matters of the country and the state of the nation, you are a presidential candidate in the PF. You chose in 2023 and paid 200,000 kwacha to aspire to lead the party. What led you to that decision? And 3 years later, we haven't gone to conference, and we seem to be, as a party, we seem to be preoccupied by even more challenges and difficulties. Just speak to your decision to decide to stand as a presidential candidate and the current state of the party and what your views are to come out of this. Is the PF able to come out of the crisis it is in to present to the country a credible opposition candidate?
Thank you so much, Ambassador. Ambassador, yes, indeed, 3 years later, we have been able to go to the conference. And I was speaking the other time with some people. I didn't mince my words. I did say that as a party, we failed to do the right thing when at the right time. And because of that, we have paid, heavy prices along the way. I know that the Zambian people, particularly those who are suffering, those whose taxes are going to increase even further to fund reckless government decisions, expanding the cost of running government, they want a solution and they want it today. They want a solution that they would have wanted it yesterday. But as a people who should provide that alternative which the people want, we have disappointed them by not doing what we should have done maybe even 3 years ago, 2 years ago, a year ago, last month, and so on and so forth. But I want the Zambian people to be sure that we will not let them down. We are going to find a solution for the Zambian, and a solution is going to work. We feel the suffering of the Zambian people. We see the national division which is in existence right now. We can tell you, Emmanuel, you are. You were referred to as a hyena. Emmanuel Mwamba is a hyena. Brian Munduvile is a hyena. Makebi Zulu is a hyena. These views were expressed at a rally where the president was present. So we know that if these views were expressed by another person on another person, it could be hate speech, They would be like Maureen Mawonga, they would be like Munia Zulu, they will go to prison. But a minister is capable of calling Emmanuel Mwamba as a hyena and declare that you, because you are a hyena, you should never come back to government. But look at the people who are in government, what they are doing. They are expanding public spending. And when they do so, they forget that this spending is actually coming out of taxpayers. You understand? The president, where they were speaking from, and now I can tell you, they were speaking from Choma. Up to today, as we speak, today Sunday, the president is still in Choma. He has been there for many days. He is at his personal farm. Okay? What is spending there is public resources. It is taxpayers' money. But he doesn't mind that he can be at his private farm for so many days. We don't even know when he's going to return to the office, and it doesn't matter. And when he gathers his ministers in Choma for a public rally, those ministers will start calling you, Emmanuel, Brian Mundubire, Makebi Zulu as hyenas, people who don't deserve to ever rule this country again. I find that unfortunate. And we see all these things. And our people are seeing all these things. The only hope they have is Honorable Kafwaya. Can you hold hands with Honorable Ruvinda and Honorable Sampa and Honorable Mundubire, the Ambassador Emmanuel, with Comrade Mudoro, Greyford Monde, as well as Chimbaka Mbui? Hold hands and find a way of progressing. Now, let's not forget that within the Patriotic Front, there could be agents of UPND, because these are politics, this is public business. There may be agents of UPND within the Patriotic Front. Okay? And then we shouldn't forget that there could also be a UPND hand in this confusion. Now, what I am saying is something I have said before. There is nobody who is going to stop us from finding a solution for the Zambian people, whether that person is inside the Patriotic Front of it. We will get a solution, and the solution will deliver the Zambia from the current problems, because we hold the solution, and we have to exercise ourselves in a manner that ensures that we give that solution to the Zambian people. So
now, just your thoughts there, Honorable Kafwaya, just your thoughts there. The extent of UPND's hand in the PF and in PF matters. In fact, I've called it a brazen attempt to steal the Patriotic Front, and is a brazen attempt to destroy democracy, because if you destroy the largest opposition in the country, what you've done is you've harmed democracy. Although there are internal wrangles within yourselves as the Patriotic Front, sometimes we appear to underestimate the role of the UPND in all this. For example, up to now, the legitimacy or legality has been taken away from the party. The President Hakainde Hichilema has put a surrogate in Robert Chabinga, who I think must be very happy to see even the internal wrangling currently. The people that must be watching with the excitement must be President Hakainde Hichilema on one side, Robert Chabinga on the other, and some opposition leaders who want to scavenge from the PF. To what extent, I know you could be determined to resolve the matters within yourself, but to what extent can you attempt to overcome this state interference, especially that you've gone to the police, you've gone to courts, and the PF has not been given back to you?
Okay, thank you so much. I read on social media somewhere, somebody was saying at the end of these 5 years, this UPND 5 years, every Zambian should be given a certificate of survival, because we have literally survived. Many of our colleagues have been lost because I know a young lady who died because government threw her out of employment, placed her at the cabinet office in the holding position, and froze all her investments with Bank of Zambia, and later she died. This was a very senior auditor in government. And I made a comment to that effect. I am very sad. Many people have lost their lives because of pressure exerted by the UPND government. They have exerted pressure in the energy sector. They have load-shedded us. They have made the cost of living excruciatingly painful. The cost of our staple food, the mealie meal, has been so expensive. The cost of transport, there are actually untold stories of the high cost of living. And because of that, a lot of people have given up. But for those of us, you and me, who are going to survive by the grace of God, maybe it is true we should be given a collective certificate of survival. And because of that, the leaders who mean well for the suffering majority Zambians, and we can speak to each other, we can respective languages towards how much we feel for the people and how much we feel for our children and possibly their children, we will come together. That process of coming together already began, as you heard, inspired by the Council of Elders, and we have started talking. Now, as strategists, as people who have been to school, we've attended minimum education. We know that there ought to be options at each and every juncture. So, I am not worried about Chavinga. I have never been worried about him because I know that Chavinga holds nothing. He doesn't even hold PF. As a matter of fact, even the injunction we are having to contend with in Kabwe had to be lodged by Ngona. I know that the court declared Mao Sampa as the legitimate president of the Patriotic Front. Mao Sampa and ourselves, some of us, myself and the others, are in court. We are challenging his presidency. So clearly, there are all these issues. But put together, everything put together, we have to hold options so that we can be able to deploy one option which will have no encumbrances or less encumbrances, and then we solve the people's problem.
There was a brief announcement by our dear brother, Deputy Secretary General Mal Sampa, that was a process. He likened it to the conclave, a process where cardinals of the Catholic Church lock themselves up until they come up with a pope. And he says there was a process similar to conclave that was underway. Now, it has received mixed feelings. Some are saying it's not constitutional. Some are saying it could be a trap for other candidates. Just briefly speak to this initiative, since it's already a cut out in the minds of the people, and you have just referred to it. What role is this so-called conclave playing in electing a PF presidential candidate?
Thank you so much, Emmanuel. Emmanuel, do you know there's even a picture out there where we have been projected in cardinal dress, in cardinal regalia. All of us with those cardinal caps. You see, this process for me is a very well-meaning process. It's a process that was thought through by people who have more experience than ourselves, people who are wiser than ourselves, people who have seen this country for longer than ourselves, and they advised. The main thrust of this was not to elect a leader, but to narrow the numbers. And the thinking is noble, because if you narrow the numbers, because currently there are about 8 to 11 PF applicants for the job, That means if we go to the national conference, all of us will be floating our names, and we are going to confuse our delegates. It may be chaotic. Divisions may erupt from there. And these people who have more experience, who have lived this world far much more than ourselves, and decide to counsel us to consider, going to a meeting where we could deploy a particular process, a particular agreed process to narrow down the numbers. Now, if we succeed in doing that, then that narrowed down number is what would be presented, is what would be allowed then to go to the national conference. And the delegates in the national conference will have a much smaller task of scrutinizing just 1, 2, or 3 people. So that is the spirit. And I do think that it is well-meaning and it is legal, because the conference would still take place. There is no substitution for the conference. The conference has to take place. A PF president can only result from a national conference. There are no two ways about it.
Oh, yeah. Let's go to your proposed programs. In 2021, the PF lost power. When I look at their manifesto for the 2021 elections, it's one of the most well thought out document. And a few months before, they had launched a national recovery plan, and at the center of it, they were to tackle issues of debt. There are the different pathway to the one that UPND took. UPND took a G20 mechanism. The PF had proposed a two-pronged approach. On the left, they were going to go to China at bilateral level and negotiate that debt. On the right, they had hired Lazard Ferris to negotiate the Eurobond and the other private debt. Be as it may, as we are now, the debt is still not fully negotiated. The private sector debt hasn't been resolved up to $3 billion. Even the China's debt, only 70-80% of the China's debt has been restructured, or their agreements. In your view, what approaches have the UPND taken indifferent to the PF? And before I come to your personal thoughts and your personal style that you might bring to leadership, how have the UPND performed? It took them not 38 months, but 4 years to get that $1.7 billion from the IMF. And the program is over. I've lost for one reason or another, maybe it's internet. Let me just see what I can do. I lost maybe it was power failure. So how has UPND done? They've just finished the IMF extended credit facility program, the ESF, and they're saying they will not have a new one. Musokotwane had announced that he was going to seek a 1-year extension, but from nowhere last week, he just announced that they're not going ahead with an IMF program, but they might seek for a new one in the near future, and they're going with a local program. What has been the state of the UPND and the approach to the economy? Are you satisfied? They keep on boasting about this matter, that they've restructured the economy. The current rate is somewhere around under 20 kwacha for the dollar. What is your view about the economy? Or is it the internet on their side? Why are we losing Honorable Mutotwe Kafoya? Let me just play. Okay, you seem to be back. Make your contribution about the state of the economy under the UPND.
Thank you so much, Ambassador Emmanuel Mwamba. Ambassador, the approach that UPND has taken, dangerous approach. UPND has taken a propaganda approach into very serious matters. Debt restructuring is a serious matter. It affects the country, it affects citizens. But what we have been treated with is the usual UPND propaganda. The last time I heard of a designate official speaking about debt restructuring, they said they had reached around 90, did they say 94% or 96%, one of the numbers. Now, if you have reached 96 or 94%, you are remaining with either 4% or 6%, depending on which one is a correct number there. I seem to forget which one. Now, how is it that UPND has failed to demonstrate which instruments have been restructured 100%? So that you can tell us that these particular instruments are the ones that have gone 100%, and if you check, this is 94% of the schedule. UPND has not been able to do that. When Dr. Msokotwani made an explanation in Parliament, he said something that caught my attention. He said, you see, in some countries, these particular instruments have to go for ratification. The executive may have agreed, but their parliament or equivalent of parliament have to. So we are sure that we are at this percentage because only those processes are remaining. Now, my brother, suppose in a number of those countries that ratification fails, would you come back and say the percentage has? So I find the approach that UPND has taken to be propaganda-based. And this is why we have a lot of problems. The president, the last time he graced the National Assembly of Zambia and he spoke, via the throne, he told us this economy has been growing 5.2, 5.3 on average per annum since we took over. Now, my brother, when you look at a country which has not had power for 4 years, 4 years, no electricity anywhere in the country. Electricity should only begin to show in an election year. What has been driving this growth that you are talking about? Today, as things stand, the kwacha has been appreciating against the dollar and the other convertibles. Now, there is a trinity in the money market. The trinity involves the exchange rates, it involves the inflation rates, it also involves the interest rates. Now, government can manipulate exchange rates. Government can manipulate inflation rates. You can tell those who are responsible for circulating these numbers that just put it at 12%. It's possible. What will you say to the interest rates? What has been happening with the interest rates? So you are exposed by the fact that interest rates are as high as they have always been, in some are higher. So clearly when you look at the interplay of these fundamentals in the Trinity, they aren't consistent. But because UPND thinks that for the Zambian people, it is just to tell them that we are okay now, there's no cadarism, there's no violence, even though a bus driver would be hacked with a machete in the head during the broad daylight. All of them involved are UPND cadres. They will still come round and say, Fiam PF with you. The president said so. At a rally in Kanyama, his cadres were fighting. And in stopping them, he said, Fia PF with you. How can Fia PF happen at your rally? Those insults that you, Emmanuel, were howled at Brian and Makebi, that you are hyenas. How can that be Fiam PF? All these young men who have been killed, like Mukuka in Kasama, the young man in Kawata, the pharmacist, the health worker in Kawata was killed. My nephew NS2 was killed in Matero. All of these people, the young boy who was shot in Mufulira by ZNS. How can all those things be fear MPF? How? The numbers of people who have been shot are so many, who have died at the hand of UPND police, UPND this, UPND that, so many. How can beat police officers at the roadblock in Chisamba be a PF thing? Police officers running away from the police station in Mwense, running away from UPND cadres. How can that be a PF thing? But UPND believes, as long as they say it and it's attractive, we are going to receive it. Yes, sir, we'll see that your exchange rate is showing an improvement. Tell us what is the relationship between exchange rates, inflation, and interest rates. Why are the financial institutions not budging? Why are your loans being serviced at the same high rate, at some instances even higher? You need to ask those questions. But, for the structuring, maybe to answer this question specifically, I'll say, what is the purpose of debt restructuring? What is the purpose of debt restructuring? You need to be clear, debt restructuring is not debt forgiveness. Debt restructuring is the change of terms that existed in the initial agreement. You give it more favorable terms for the borrower. So when Dr. Msokotwane and others are going to negotiate, they are saying, this loan which we owe you, we are requesting that you give us better terms than the ones we had. Now, if you have done 99% of restructuring, my expectation is that your debt service should have improved because you now have better terms. Why are you paying over $1 billion? The same amount that was there before 2021. What is the issue? So I find this rhetoric unfortunate, and I do think that UPND needs to explain more for the Zambian people to appreciate that they are slowly gravitating out of governing the country via propaganda, but through truth and things that can be substantiated.
Yeah, thank you very much. What do you think the opposition should provide? What alternative program, if you, for example, were a flag bearer in the PF or the opposition, or you had an opportunity to counsel whoever will be new leader, what new programs can be done?
In view of debt, or you are asking in view of national
general economic programs?
You see, for all of us who are pushing to remove UPND from government, we are outside of government. We know from the indicators in the economic environment that this has been the poorest government that Zambia has ever had. And we know that there are a lot of things that are unknown to the Zambian people. So my advice to myself, or whoever that it would be, is that as soon as you enter into government, make an honest analysis of the score. What situation are you sitting with? Whether you are talking about debt, whether you are talking about other economic indicators, okay? Are these economic indicators real? Is this debt restructuring announcement reflecting the reality okay? After a quick but thorough technical and professional analysis, then you now devise options for each one of those, comments. Devise working options, and options are abound. I think for people like myself who are trained to generate options, then you analyze those options for the purpose of solving the actual problems as has been identified through a scientific analysis of the status quo. Once you have done that, you deploy the most efficient, most effective, and the cheapest, because Zambian people now do not want solutions that are expensive, because you can't afford it. Look at the public expenditure. Look at where the money is going. Look at social spending. Social spending, Emmanuel, has moved over 300% again from 2021 up to now. If you compare the 2021 budget and the 2026 budget, social spending has moved. What is that? Moving social spending to over 300% means the situation we are sitting with right now is one which requires for government to spend in that sector because people have got no jobs. How can a government start spending on cash for work? What type of thinking is that? How can you expand social cash transfer to the bounds that this government has expanded it to? They are telling you they have created an economic environment where people have got no economic activity. The only thing, the few people who are paying taxes, a lot of these taxes now should be going towards expanding that social service sector. But you know what you are doing? You are creating lifelong unemployment. People, there will be fewer people who are going to promote business. There will be fewer people who will be able to create business opportunities. And so those people who on social services, they will opt to stay there, and you have to find money to always expand that budget, which means that you are going to continuously tax the plugging population which is in active employment and having that little business activity. At the end of the day, you collapse the country completely. So clearly analysis is needed, Emmanuel. Analysis, scientific analysis. Tell yourselves the truth and begin from the truth. Don't say, what are the people, what are we going to tell the people? No, you tell the people what is there, and you will have discovered what is there because you have done a scientific analysis. So for me, I'll tell you the first thing, analyze the status quo. From there, you can create decisions quickly, decisions that are going to address all these problems, whether these problems are to do with national division, whether they have got to do with economic stagnation, or whether they've got to do with failure to reach 100% of debt restructuring, or wherever that that may be. You've got to ensure that you analyze the situation honestly.
Yeah, wonderful. I'll be opening phone lines, dear viewers. We are hosting Honorable Mtotwe Kafwaya. Is Lunte Member of Parliament and is one of the 11 presidential candidates in the Patriotic Front. He's former Minister of Transport and Communication, and we are interacting with him to discuss the state of the party and the state of the country. Just speak briefly, the largest number of voters will be young people, but they are disillusioned. There's little opportunities for empowerment. They are worse affected by unemployment. And just the crisis in the country does adversely affect them since they are the majority in the country. Do you have any thoughts about how to alleviate the crisis of young people?
Yes, the young people, Emmanuel, are suffering right now. The young people were not promised promises. President Hakainde Hichilema has said if he is re-elected for his second and final term, he's going to double the economy. He will double the GDP. That is not why President Hakainde was elected. President Hakainde was elected to create jobs for the young people. As a matter of fact, there was this promise of when you call Bali, you know, Bali is a name that I don't know who gave him, maybe he gave it to himself. It was referred to President Hakainde Hichilema, and he himself boasted about it, the Bali momentum. So I said, when you shout Bali Chijob, you know, meaning that if you see him and you just praise him like the way you would praise Jesus Christ, have mercy on me, son of David. You know, have mercy upon us, son of David. But for Hakainde, if you just shout Bali Chijob Muliwe, that was a promise to the young people. This is why the young people wore their graduation gowns when voted him, to demonstrate that we graduated from our respective colleges and universities, but we have not been able to get a chance of employment. But since for you, Bali will just be shouting Bali and Chijob Muliwe, they went and voted for him in numbers, and he won elections by 1 million votes, beating our late president by 1 million. And we congratulated him, and here we are. Those young people who went to vote for him on account of just of Bali would land you a job, today were load-shedded for the past 4 years. Okay, Bali's government has now started to give them stable power in order for them to vote for him again in a few months' time. So, Emmanuel, earlier we were talking about, if I just, let's take one sector, for example, okay, where many young people have gone to school and they have not been employed. Let's take the health sector. If I were analyzing the health sector, Emmanuel, I would be saying, what is the problem in the health sector? Okay, the problem as I see it, with my simple analysis, I would say there is lack of sufficient doctors in hospitals. I would say there are long queues in hospitals, long queues, where you go to hospital, you are given an appointment for 3 months, 6 months, because of the queue to see the doctor. I would be saying there is lack of disease diagnosis in our hospitals. There is lack of sufficient and appropriate medicines. These are some of the things I would be talking about. But listen, how many resident doctors in our country have not been employed? Over 3,000. These are young men and women who have gone to the University of Zambia, to Apex University, Mulunga Belt University, and all of these universities that are offering medicine. And they have graduated. And government has failed to place them in these health facilities, which health facilities do not have sufficient doctors. But what does government want to do, Emmanuel? Government of Zambia, the President Hakainde's government, wants to increase members of parliament. Do you know a resident doctor, Emmanuel? I worked at Cancer Diseases Hospital for some time. And this is why I'm very passionate about cancer treatment in this country, because I saw how people suffer with that burden. Probably now they will be getting around 25,000 kwacha thereabout. Now, how much money is going to go into this expansion in the National Assembly? how can that do in employing the over 3,000 resident doctors who remain unemployed? That can do a lot. But this government does not even think about those doctors. It is thinking about members of parliament, bloating, governance, the cost of government. And then some of these young men and women who have been trained and they are finished, they are volunteering in the various hospitals around the country. And I am aware that about half the number, they are volunteering in hospitals, going to work in the morning, knocking off in the evening, just like all other doctors, but getting nothing completely. These people have been volunteering for 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, and so on. Okay? Somebody has gone to school. That person is a medical doctor, not this school where you just do a certificate. It's a medical doctor. And then they are made to work to see patients every day, every working day, from 7 hours to whatever time they knock off, for nothing, for no pay. These are the conditions that resident doctors, some resident doctors, are subjected to in their own country. And then you expect these people to perform at maximum concentration. You don't think about how they travel from their homes to work and back. You don't think about how they manage their meals, because they are human beings like you and me. They have to eat their lunch. You don't think about how they manage their rentals, because these are young people. You don't expect them to own houses. You literally don't think about any of these things, and you don't care as a government. Listen to me. You are frustrating the health. In fact, these same doctors are using their initiative to see patients and give advice to patients. But when you are at UTH, for example, or let me take an example of, say, you are at Kanyama level 1, and your relatives bring you are a patient, you collapsed at home. You find a doctor who is a voluntary doctor. That voluntary doctor has been to school. Looking at you, they can what it is, but what they want is for them to be sure. And so they ask for certain tests. Okay? There is no, the laboratory at the hospital has no reagents. So you can't do that test. So they will be saying, no, take the patient to UTH, or go and have this test at UTH. You come to UTH, at UTH, they tell you these reagents are not there, so go to Nkanza Laboratories. Nkanza Laboratories is not government, you have to pay. And then the economic environment where you are coming from, there is no money. So you leave the doctor no choice but to prescribe based on guesswork. Okay? They start managing that patient based on guesswork because they are unable to put the necessary test which is required for them to be sure of your condition. And even when they now based on that professional guesswork, you are dispatched to the pharmacy, you know. The dispensary people, they tell you that this medicine is unavailable, okay, and buy. Or they only give you first line because there is no option of the second line. How do you run a health sector in that fashion? How do you do just that? My brother, we pray to God that you should never have cancer in Zambia. Because if you have cancer, you will travel from Luwingu to Cancer Hospital in Lusaka, and you'll be told there is no machine that is working. No radiotherapy at all. Nothing. But what government will be telling you is that we are building another cancer hospital in Dola. What manner of irresponsibility is that? where you are building another facility, the existing facility can't offer support. But yes, so you'll be told, no, you can be sent abroad, for specialist treatment. But what is the budget for specialist treatment? I was looking at the Yellow Book the other day, 300 million. 300 million can cover very few people, just politicians. Is that the reason you are expanding the number of politicians? So that they can exhaust all that budget? So you have a serious problem, my brother, in terms of being honest with our nation. Let's go and fix these issues by the truth. The truth is that the queues at UTH are unbearable. If a person is sent home for 6 months, by the time they come back, what will be their condition? How would their condition degenerate? These are people whose conditions can actually be managed if we are serious. Let's employ people. Let's buy diagnostic equipment. Let's resource our laboratories. Let's make sure these big hospitals have magnetic resonance imaging, they have got CT scans, they have got all of these, sophisticated equipment, which is for them to see the body. I had a condition one time in one of my kidneys. I think that was in 2016.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen and colleagues. We are hosting Honorable Mtoto Kafwaya, presidential candidate in the Patriotic Front. He's former Minister of Transport and Communication. We've discussed various issues, the state of our country, the state of our economy, the state of the Patriotic Front. If you have any question relating to the matters that is risen, it's your time to call. The lines are now open. Let's see if we can take a few calls for Honorable Mtoto Kafwaya.
Kwenye ndemwe chabe mabanja onanjala mkomo ndalama zonse mutumbalano masukwa kuchuluka pa mutupatu. Time is up, time is up. Kwenye not enough. Time is up for your lies and bluff. Time is up, time is up. Kwenye not enough. Time is up for your lies and bluff. Kanizanu ndizo panda pindu.
Errors, debt restructuring, the damage in the mines, law and order. Twali wambulaji mwalunga mujoma mwakwera basi weyakulusaka intercity useruka buyombo oserugira ate basi ya wakujoma ate vimenye nivi batoka kuchoma hivi vimenye nivi ati tundu mwezi singombe wakabape abantu bali kumwa ati tundu mwezi ati mbaba hota maningi kuhotela akaende amuba ome ku intercity sunu yakaba yamwe yakakuba mola liendela mbomu yanda intercity kunyina umuguma wamuguma ndamwanga banyina bene wabalyawe Zambia, so many things. Although we've done, there are many more things to be done. Tujiyagumbere kuberega, not what tarigo, not waganka kuberego. We've just started working now. We've just started. There's a lot more work to be done. Nyambose Ulia, Kujasef, he needs more schools, more classrooms, more desks, more teachers. Work to be done. Mungandu Ulia, he needs more bohos.
Thank you very much, callers. The line is open. We are hosting Honorable Mtoto Kafwaya. If you have any query on the state of the country, state of the Patriotic Front, and some of the key issues and proposals that he has spoken to, their comments here, Honorable Mtoto Kafwaya, this conclave issue what is it. I think Honorable Kafwaya has explained what this conclave is. Honorable Kafwaya, callers are reminding me that they were just glued when you were explaining your situation with the kidney matter. Probably I missed that. Let me just bring you on. You finish your thought on that before we allow phone lines. But he will answer among the issues. Let's see. We take the questions.
Good evening.
Good evening, caller. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
My name is Uncle J.
Uncle J, make your contributions.
My question actually goes straight to Dr. Kafwaya. Him being one of the aspiring candidates, what is his position? Is he willing, if they, as he mentioned, that there is a conclave that is actually going on and is given us an assurance that it's something that is likely to yield positive results? Is he willing to be one of those people, if they say you are the person that is going to be put out, to allow others, maybe the 2 or 3 that are going to go to the conference? Is he one of those that would take it lightly if such a thing happens to him? Then secondly, can he surely assure the nation that there is indeed positivity that is taking place? Because what we are seeing from outside is totally different from what he said. From our point of view, it appears that there is so much division, in the patriotic front, and to the things that he stated, it appears that that is not actually the actual situation. Can he assure us, as a people that are quite frustrated to this point, that what he said regarding the progress being made in choosing a leader is actually there? Thank you.
Thank you very much. The caller has made it very clear that from their perspective, Honorable Mtoto Kafwaya, the optics are looking very bad. Is this a process to exclude others? Is this a process that is credible? And are you willing to stand down if they didn't pick you? And remember, you were explaining about a matter of the kidney. I'll let you answer that matter as well, but just hold on. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
Good evening, Mwamba.
Good evening.
Yeah, good evening, the Honorable.
Yes.
Yes.
Tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
Yeah, Anonymous calling you from Chipata.
Anonymous, make your contributions.
Yes. My contribution will be very simple. What our Honorable spoke has said, there's nothing new. We're now looking at the time. We have run out of time. The problem with our politicians is that they think they have the monotony of wisdom. We've been advising people, these people and stuff. A lot of people have contributed to this program on how we wanted the opposition to move on. Number, it's like, but PF, now but we have more problems, you're not heading anywhere. So my contribution and my appeal to you, Mwamba and your Honorable, is this. Can we now just call what's her name, Ramama Inonge winner, to come and lead the PF so that we move forward? It's like you own some leaders mnanikani mu PF vatu filwa. We have advised you, we have told you what we want. The government, Banankana government, they are there trying to cripple us and stuff. But this program has been open to everyone to contribute. We have contributed, we have advised, we have fought, we have given everything. So can we just cover Inonge winner? We ride behind her, not moving her forward because in Stana.
Thank you very much, caller. The caller proposes that, gentlemen, you have failed. Just bring Honorable Inonge Winner. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
Yeah, hello?
Yes.
Okay, this is Muvanga Kondolo, John. I'm calling from the UK.
Yes, my dear brother Mbanga Kondolo.
Honorable Mtote Kafuaya, there are two questions that I want you to speak to, and I'll be very short. First and foremost, is the confusion in PF quite all right? And I think this time is of essence. And in politics, a day can be 1,000, or 1,000 can be like a day. So you people need to put your acts together and microwave something that sorts out your problem. So that put aside, I want you to speak to the two things. Right now, there is a claim by the government, which is there, that the dollar is now 18. Why can't you, and they're celebrating that, but can you highlight that the promise was not to celebrate on the $18 quarter to $1? I think 14 hours we're still waiting, supposed to be single digit. And is it based on the economic output in terms of export and dollar gained, or it's just a flooding of the dollar on the market, which reduces the thing? That is one aspect. The other aspect, Mtotwe, I know you are a Christian, and I can stand on the rooftops that you are a very straight young man, not corrupt. I think they can set you and not come up with anything. But as a Christian, there is something that is I want you to comment to. When it comes to one of the forehead is Dr. Mumba. His current stand for me is a biased thing. Can you comment? Is he helping the situation for you Christians in politics? Or, I don't know where you stand in terms of when you view him as a mentor to young people, Christians in politics, and his current stand, which I think is so biased, is basically UPND. So can you comment to that?
Thank you very much. Let me just take two more calls so that we allow Honorable Mtoto Kafuaya to answer. Let me just take two more, Honorable Mtoto Kafuaya. Let me take two more questions because the phone is flooded, but I'll just take two. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you're calling us from.
Thank you. My name is Chama. I'm actually calling you from Lusaka.
Mr. Chama.
So the problem, Dr. Kafaya has actually highlighted a lot of things well articulated. By the way, I should thank him. We indeed in Zambia, we have a lot of brains that are being underutilized. But I believe should the government change, we'll be in a better trajectory again. My quick comment for me is we have seen the challenge that is in PF in terms of picking up a leader. I think one of the biggest challenges that is there right now is that we have a player and at the same time we have a referee. If, for me, Honorable Winda could actually pull back and allow maybe the Council of Elders to take over for the sake of the preparation of the conference, I think it is going to be helpful. But as things stand, I think he will stand as an hindrance because he has interest. He has to declare interest and allow. For example, Mama Inonge Winner has done a tremendous job before, and this is not a difficult thing. We are not calling her to active politics, but to help out and sort out this myth that is there. We need to move. Time is of essence. We do not have time. Time is gone. We need a leader as soon as possible. So I actually request that Honorable Winda has done so much for PF this far. But for the sake of progress, for the sake of the nation, for the sake of unity in the party, let him step aside and allow a neutral person to take over and organize for these elections. They don't even need to go to a conference in one place. They can do it actually online. You know, life has been made simple. We know that, this government will not even allow them to gather. But the fact that they should have a leader, you see how the opposition is going to be organized the moment PF has a leader that is legitimate. I thank you.
Thank you very much. Let me take some more calls, just for these that are calling. Hello, caller, please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
Good evening, Ambassador Niwamunkonge.
Bamunkonge, make your contribution or a quick question.
Ambassador inekwena njifye wa burandana kambi because icharengero kwe wati PF ifume mu system murandi wa propaganda murandi wa kwe wati ntunguru shishari moyo PF tashari ya reti kuchita protect filia ba UPND bare chitata kiromba geni instead basambiri lepo ngamwarole shasara na ambassador ba UPND nga bamona pa kwe wati pale moneka kutwara twaro apale ikataba PF wangu bara mukutwara ku chimfurunganya pakwe batira progress ya rubana nomba bena ba intunguru shishesu instead na shena shibe aretu kwe bati para shire panga progress nangu ba UPND batwara ku chimfurunganya ira progress tairi disturb chinshi nomba intunguru shishesu shirekera lyonse ataki aba UPND ile chita nani kan ile chita affect progress yesu but again intunguru shishesu nga twasanga fe barangire fyonse ba kafwaya fyonse fika nkara sa bajichinga rengo kwe wacha twosere po sana pa fe barangire situation tuberere ko tayiri wino turefwaya turefo kumfwe fe chitika pali hope yesu because abena zambia bakwete hope pali pa kutsuka pamuna ndo wa PF oro abena Zambia bare umfa direct ifire chitika pali PF ama attack abena Zambia bare yamona noku ya sumina mufu bare ya sumina namo mwana ndifya chitika pali bachavinga fyali moleka pafe bachita pali PF so na fyonze fire isa abena Zambia bare subira kwa batapa tapali wino yapo tureka bire ntunguru shishesu ture shiromba shonse sha imini na first bafuire bachita fight party before tabara yuma muri manifesto yabo batararike chimfurunganya echo turero mbako because wala umfomwenso barefira okuchita protect ba UPND pakwe bati progress yawe itwalire attack ile isa sana direct so turero mbako ntungurushi chipange system we akuchita prevent ichirongano cheso because chile bafi attack each and every time oro question imbi yonkwete kuri bena ba kafwaya mweba iminina wonse bushe romwa mweni okwe bati pali wonse mweba iminina uneno kwa mbo kulola takuli bwino because inefona kwa tapwe ishi wishbiro unono gatako bati mule iminina ufere mwarolera wa executive ba Mr introduce kuma structures ya mpati tamufure mwa itwara kwa mwebe nomba mweba mbi mweba shaya kulya okuya muku chita approach ama structures ero mwamono munenu kweba chapura muifunge nishi mwebene mweba iminina tamwa imine bwangu before president tara imina mu mwapanga complain kweba chawo munesu au ma offsite nombara imo mwareta mbafye nangu chinshi charengero kweba ti mweba iminina muiranda pansa mbushenu mware komunenu ena umo ale chita campaign mu structure chisoma mukwa.
Hello, caller, please tell us your name and this will be our last caller on this so that we can take other calls. I mean, we can allow Honorable Mtoto Kafwaya to answer.
This is Mwamba from Livingston.
Mr. Mwamba from Livingston, make your contributions quickly.
I think I'm going to agree na about previous, before Mungonge, there was another previous caller who talked about Bainonge winner. Now, I think as it is right now, we have really tried to put some candidates, Pamo. I think something tangible has really struggled to come out. So I think just to amplify what the previous caller mentioned, I think what we can do now as PF is that abanga tungura palino to lead the candidates maybe the Council of Elders, basically taking a charge of the process. I can suggest that Mama Inonge Wina, either the acting president or in whatever capacity, and then someone Baba spokesperson, and then to make sure that Ababa Council of Elders, they usher in umuntu everyone is going to accept. For sure. For example, me myself, I'm a supporter of Honorable Given Rubin, and that is very true. But I think we want the best for this country and for the party. So if you feel like what has compromised a bit, if you feel Given Rubin is an acting president, at the same time is a candidate on a PF aspiring candidate as president. So I think that also has also disturbed a bit of things, and this is I think why we've struggled to even come up with a leader. So maybe we can go Council of Elders, but they take charge of the process. And then in Ababa Kwetawa Pangama structures, which are Pamunduvire. The Buffalo Balanda, if he at all, but it will be okay to go with somebody over Kasara. I think what we need is total unity than our selfish interest. The Kenama Council of Elders, they take charge of this process. We don't have time.
Thank you very much. Mwewa from Livingstone, who's an ardent supporter of Honorable Given Rwinda on this program, says maybe an independent person or body should take over briefly just to ensure that the PF comes up with a candidate. I see my brother from Canada is calling. Yeah. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and be brief.
Yeah. Mwamba Mushadi. What I'll say is this. I'll give an example in North America. In North America, JD, the vice president, as at now, there was a time he was insulting the current president. I'll give an example of Kamala Harris. Before she was the vice president, her and Joe Biden were also at wrangles. But, for the love of the party and for the love of the country, they settle their differences and decide to work together. The problem we are having in PF, hidden and selfish agendas against the party. These are people who just want to see PF dead. And you know why? Because they are under the paycheck of the UPND. Most of them, you might be seeing them like, oh, they are PF, but they have been bought. So, like the two previous callers that they have said, Mama Inonge Wina, she's there. And other people that love this PF party, let them come together. Bamwamba, at this point where we are, the selfish people, for me, I don't care whether they leave the party. Actually, they will be cleaning the party for us. Because but now we are seeing them, like I said the other time, actually Chavinga is much far better than these other people who are hiding, but just want to destroy the PF party. Let us sit within this month, go to the convention. The one who is going to win will now form up structures that will follow. Because PF is the biggest opposition party. Why do we want to see this party? Because of few selfish individuals. Bamwamba, you are a member of MCC. You are also a council member. Can we sit as a family and iron out this before August?
Thank you. Callers, will come back to you. Let Honorable Mtoto Kafwaya answer the questions that have been given to him. Honorable Mtoto Kafwaya, let's start with Uncle Jay, who said you've expressed optimism about this process of the conclave, but he says it's not looking good on our side. Let's start with that.
Ambassador, 7 calls, including the messages that you referred to. So I'll start with Uncle Jerry. I think first and foremost, I would like to say that PF is an organization. And so there are group ethics there's an ethical code that we are generally expected to adhere to. But also as individuals, we ought to have personal morality standards. And if we hold ourselves to high personal morality and embrace ethical behavior, which is truly ethical, we have to think about people much more than we think about ourselves. This is why I am less concerned about the possible outcome of the conclave. I am less concerned about the possible outcome of the convention. I am more concerned about the outcome of the general elections. I say so because I think I have developed capability to be able to serve the Zambian people in various roles. And I have served Zambian people in numerous roles in the past. So I am comfortable to continue serving Zambian people in roles that God allow that I be able to serve in. I offered myself to contest the PF presidents because of my personal understanding of who I am, what I have accumulated in terms of understanding this country, in terms of understanding government, in terms of understanding governance. And I do think that I have the correct set of capabilities to be able to facilitate the solving of these complex problems that we are facing as a nation. Uncle Jerry, are you willing to step aside? I think I don't know if I have to be more clearer than that. This is public business. This is business for the people. The people have much more than my personal say. So if the people said it is Emmanuel Mwamba will go and out behind. I am happy to do. You have expressed, positivity, but what we see from outside is, deep confusion. Yes, there is confusion. There's no question about that. I see the confusion. I feel the confusion. I feel the frustration, perhaps much more than some, perhaps less than some. But the question is this: no one, or should I say the answer is this: no one, whether that person is in the PF or outside of it, will stop from finding the solution. And another person followed up and said, politicians think they have the monopoly of wisdom. No, we are in a difficult space. We have to acknowledge that. We are in a difficult situation. This government has squeezed the Patriotic Front. This is why, for me, the internal issues in the Patriotic Front, other than the known Maus and Pachavinga and other issues, even deeper and distinct issues may be funded or promoted by the UPND. I have no doubt some of the problems we may have, which are not even known, like the Maus's conference and Chavinga's claims and Ngonazi, litigations and so on. Other and many could be as a result of UPND. But I'm here to tell you that whether you are UPND or PF and you are causing this confusion, the Zambian people out there want a solution, and the solution will come from us who are feeling the pain that the Zambian people are feeling. So I am with you. It is not the matter of having all wisdom. It is a matter of the space we are operating in. This is a very difficult place. This is a UP standard of governance. This is the UPND standard of promotion of democracy. When UPND promised democracy, this is what they meant. This is what they meant. When they promised higher standards of governance, this is exactly what UPND meant. So that came from somebody who preferred to remain anonymous from Chipata, and my older brother Mvanga Kondoro talks about the dollar. I want to say that I have misgivings because this year there's nothing that is happening which would have brought the dollar into the country compared to the previous years. Unless government will tell us they have got some loans which they have not announced. Otherwise, how do you... I've not seen anything. But these are numbers which can be manipulated, as I said. These are trends which can be motivated. And I'm not saying they have been manipulated. I'm not saying they have been motivated in this fashion. I'm saying these are numbers that a government is capable of manipulating. But before long, you will be exposed. Because while you can manipulate exchange rates and the inflation rate, you cannot manipulate the interest rate. So the trinity in that monetary sector is certainly going to expose you. What about the comment on Dr. Nevas Mumba? In fact, before I go to that, my brother said, what was the promise? This is the case in all of these things. Fertilizer today, even if you reduce it to 900, it is senseless. It is meaningless. Don't even come and tell us that it is now 750. By the way, don't cheat that it is 750 when it is over 1,000 kwacha. But even if you brought it to 750, just keep quiet. The promise you gave us was 250 kwacha. Unless you come to us and tell us that you are incapable of bringing a bag of fertilizer to 250 kwacha, then we will be able to tell our people or the Zambian people that, in fact, what was said was a lie. This is why, when I was asked earlier, I had said, when you are out and then you go in, you are supposed to take an analysis, a scientific analysis, and then you establish the situation in reality. Then you begin to move forward from a properly analyzed situation. You don't cheat people, and thereafter you fail. Then you are saying the opposition should be meaningful. They should be sensible. Look at this, and we are not looking at things that you didn't tell us. We are not going to consider unemployment in view of the other factors. We are first of all looking at the promise, which you gave us. Then I would come down to Dr. Mumba. My brother spoke clearly Christianity, and also Dr. Mumba's Christianity. In fact, Dr. Mumba is one of the clergymen who actually laid a hand on my head at the gymnasium. I normally restrain myself from taking so much comments. Some of his views sound very biased, and I read some of his statements, they are biased. But yes, he's in a political space. He can remain biased. It's just unfortunate because even for me, I struggle with things, I struggle with things because I have a conscience, and the conscience tells me, no, look, you can't extend. You have to end here, okay? Because other than being understood in the political arena, I belong to other circles. And in those circles, there are different ethics. For example, since I'm a qualified accountant and I'm a member of CIMA, I'm a member of Zika, I am expected to exhibit professional conduct. I'm expected to to have integrity. Now, if I just say things anyhow, tomorrow Zika will call me, and Zika will begin to sanction me. Tomorrow SEMA will be very disappointed with me. They will start saying, but these are not ethical standards as promoted by our institutions. The church leadership will call me, and they will start questioning me about certain things. This is why I have to I have to make sure that I remain within the bounds of acceptable, ethical codes that govern the various, institutions to which I belong. What is unexpected of a Christian like myself and Dr. Nevas Mwamba is to be outright political. You cannot be outright political. For example, there's no way you can justify a minister of government calling another person a hyena. You can't, even if you support you in the church. It's impossible. Maybe let's challenge Dr. Nevas Mwamba to come out on that. Maybe my brother will be able to assess whether the doc still retains capacity to mentor us as younger Christians, as he did before, to the extent of even laying hands on our heads.
Thank you, Honorable Mtoto Kafwaya. Let me just add 3 questions. Then we begin to close, because I know this is an outdoor broadcast and you have a team, and the team that is out there, they might need to go. So let's just quickly take the last 3 questions, and Honorable Mtoto Kafwaya will wrap up. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you're calling us from.
Yes,
Nditayama mwichelo aipushendwa Mtoto Kafwaya ama question mkwete quickly.
Umgwaira Mtoto Kafwaya mwabombeni kairi. Twatotera pakuisa inene wo mlenga chingola. Mtoto Kafwaya. Tulefwaya mutu webeko ife mutukwatire na kuchirisha mwa mu group ya aspiring candidates. Mwaba. Tulefwaya mutu webeko amaplani mukwete muri ino January. Tulefo kweba tino January ikwe kwa bulo kusale ntongoroshi. Twali bisuminishe bonse okutira. Bonse na bamwamba bene kabiyeni bonse mu aspire. Mwaya aspire. So tulefo yanga kuya bonse kuya kwa aspire mwema aspiring candidate muka yesale ntongoroshi umo nangu babiri. Na kuchirisha ine kuti natemuisha lipi mwaya la vipamo kula kuine vice president na president twafuma kono kufuma pakutira February lero twalata. Tutambe ukulanda pamuntu kwe bati candidate tukwete na vice president tukwete ni aba. So ayama pange therefore akumva kuli imwe because na kuchirisha fwe bali panshi fwe bali shiboko bali na support UP na PF. Na tukwata ama question ya ingeo bali tuipusha. So therefore twasuke ko pakutira na ifo tambe ko asuka abantu. 2 imbia kulekelesha masa suspension. Amasa suspension wa Mtoto Kafwaya na bamwamba benenga mulebukisha. Tafire yale bomfeshi wa panshita. Tulipali chicha msango na kuchirisha nga tulimu opposition. If you remember 2011, basa tabali vile wakuta suspend. One nani provincial minister waku Northern Province na mule ibukisha. Chisanga. Baile mwe batisha walu vyenye kumbala. Walu vyenye vya kumkulungu. Isha kutesa suspend party. Isha kupokena position. Bachuka bombeshe. Mamfwate. Nomba nga tuwakwata ma suspension ya atule muna kuliba given Ruvinda. Yala tutinya. Because yale mna wakwati kupasangana. Mama nandi. So, ama suspension, yonzo mapangiri wa given Ruvinda. Wachi se withdraw. Tulefu wa mtambi okwendela babu. Na bonzenge imowe ni Mtoto Kafwaya. Mboba kaya sana kula kuinenga tuwa convention. Not if tulefu wa mche withdraw. Bashale batatu. Minister mwaso bere ina problem. Ilali inepa festi mwale babantu wa tende apply. Nalo mwali no kuwata koka meeting. Mwalande chintu chumachibane. Tuwafurisha. Ege tushefi abantu babili. Nalo na kutisha balela ndatisha. Atupashari abantu batatu. Walabe neba fuye babali la populanda. Sile na chawu withdraw. Not tukufuwa yoku nobi alanda. Sile chawu withdraw tebe file chawu. So Mtoto Kafwaya infocho tukwatishe. Tulefu a candidate.
Thank you. Thank you, my brother. Thank you. I think your point has been made clear. Yeah. Hello, caller. Oh, this caller is gone. I'm so sorry. Let's take just 2 more calls and we allow Honorable Mtoto Kafwaya to answer. Yeah, just a minute. I want when I close, I close. I want when we close, we close. Hello, caller, please tell us your name and where you are calling us from, and kindly be brief.
Hello, Emma. Hello?
Yes, caller, please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
Thank you very much, Emma. This is Christopher from Rhodesia.
Christopher, make your contributions quickly or your questions.
Yes, thank you very much. I just want to contribute on what is happening in the PF, especially with regard to Brian Mondrivile. I think he's aligning himself to the group that is has nothing to do with the party or the leadership that ECL put in place. He's aligning himself with a group that is saying ECL left the movement. Now that is far from the truth. And then if you want to be a leader, I think you must be ethical, you must follow standards. And that is not what is happening from our brother, Brian. Remember when the ACL wanted to be at the helm there, he never forced it. The people propelled him. Now, that's why I want to agree with other colleagues who are saying maybe they are sponsored by the ruling party. How do you go ahead and make parallel structures? Okay? Why can't you wait for the convention?
Thank you, my brother. The caller is very clear. Yeah. So let me take the last call. Last call. And hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you're calling us from. For all the callers, I wish to apologize. This is the last call. Hello, caller. Tell us your name and where you're calling us from.
Thank you, Ambassador. I'm calling from the UK. If I could just apologize, if I could just remain anonymous for now. Honorable Kafwaya, thank you so much for taking the time to speak with us and answer our questions. I appreciate your openness. However, I'm still a bit unclear about your specific plans, especially for the economy. So I don't have any new questions apart from the questions that Ambassador asked you before. So if you became president, could you just please share your solutions on the economy, because this is going to build some trust and just give that confidence in the people that are looking at the possible candidates. Also, if you could just share your thoughts, again, repeating the previous question, if you could just share your thoughts about the recent improvements that we've seen in the country, because to me, they are questionable, and I think you would agree with me as well. So the Kwacha has appreciated. I believe there's some improvement in the power supply. So do you think this is sustainable? And if not, what would you do about it if you became president? Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. To all the callers, I wish to apologize. The calls are now coming in tap. It's like that. Usually, on Sunday, people watch programs. They'll be watching here, there, and then they finally come and congregate on my program, and you can see from the numbers of calls that are coming. Please answer those questions, and don't remember the example of the kidney issue. You were trying to give an example. One caller is on me that I cut you.
Now that's personal experience, and I wanted to share my, my experience based on what I am saying. The importance of having the capacity to diagnose disease. So in 2016, during the campaigns in Northern Province, I fell ill there. I was taken to Kasama General Hospital on an injection. And I felt better, so went back to my campaign residence. And then, as soon as we finished campaigns and we came down here, there was a petition in 2016, we all remember. But the day that the late President Edgar Lungu was opening the first session of the Assembly, I was taken ill from the National Assembly in an ambulance into UTH. The same condition that
I hope we don't have power failure.
Okay, so I can hear you. Although
Yeah, proceed,
I'm not sure
proceed.
if,
As technician, quickly
yes.
look at the picture.
Yes, so I was saying I was taken ill from the National Assembly straight into admission at Fast Track in UTH. And I was checked, and the doctors began to treat me. The problem never went. Until I remembered that at some point I'd worked at Cancer Hospital. And before I left Cancer Hospital, we had procured a magnetic resonance imaging. So I went there, paid for that service for the MRI, and the MRI was able to show what problem that was. I had 2 kidney stones on my left kidney.
Uh-oh, now I can't hear you, Honorable Mtoto Kafaya. Let me see when he comes back. So he had an experience. I think he was talking about diagnosis and wrong diagnosis, but they were able to detect what this is. As they are sorting that out, let me take a caller. Hello, caller, please. You are very lucky. We are trying to sort out something technical. Quickly make your contribution.
Hello, Mwamba, sorry. Okay, Ninevo. Anyway, nameless as usual, calling from the no man's land. Anyway, I'll be very quick. Honorable Bakafaya, Chunglopo Mkwai. Anyway, Bakafaya, listening to all what you have highlighted, this really entails in the state our country is running today. And it's quite scary in the sense that we are, or you are, gradually losing the supporters. Bantu abantu, I think, are losing a number interest. Ukweba ti tamule yafwa. Ero no kulondola na mulondolo ukweba ti chintu ichashupa sana, and we do understand very well na ifwebe nyukuba. Lelo, apart from this, there is something that I want to talk about. And Ambassador, you should also listen to this very much, because I think this is also a worry because of what's happening. People have tended, to be looking outside somewhere for help. I would like to air my view and appeal to those people who are asking Mr. Trump to intervene in what's happening in Zambia. Really, where are we? I just can't imagine, that we should reach to this level of thinking, Bamwamba. Can Zambia really be compared to the harsh, and conflicts, these ever conflicts that have been happening elsewhere? I don't think so. Are we asking for a recolonization from the Westerners? Because Westerners can't just come and do whatever they want. Zambia is so fragile. It's a young country. We should try and help ourselves. Yes. We don't have any war, any civil war. Are we really being serious in a way we address ourselves, to the world? Please, let's be realistic. Our forefathers fought so hard to liberate us from the West oppression, and no one today in 2026 would ever reverse such a situation. Let's not fear ourselves. We need to save our country. You are all educated people. Bonse fe mwalisambirira. Tete tulevula abantu abalinganga ba Trump. Ba Trump tabakese ku Zambia, bakese chitakwe echi, bakatupa echalu. This is actually worrying. There are so many people who are addressing. Abantu abasambirira abakulu, they would sit on the, on air and start telling the world that we want Trump to come and help us. Helping us in what? I hope Honorable Kafaya can also, address to this. I don't think this is something that we really need.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Honorable Mtotoka Fire, this goes to the issue of where the people want, where is the British? Why are the donors quiet? Where is Donald Trump? Are we incapable of resolving our issues as the opposition and mount a challenge against President Hakainde Hichilema? Thank you. Please continue with the questions in the manner you were answering them.
I just wanted to say, because I managed to go under the magnetic resonance imaging, the diagnosis was done and I was treated. The 2 kidney stones were able to be rid of kidney. Now, our situation now is that there are just about no government hospital in Zambia which has a functional MRI. Even when you have to come down to a CT scan, how many CT scans are operational in government? So I will give that example when I was talking about the problems in the health sector. And what you expect when it is bad is that we're going to doctors, we're going to resource the dispensaries, the pharmacies. We are going to ensure that we employ the appropriate diagnostic equipment, and on a graduating basis. That was a point. But there are interesting questions here, and because I'll be very fast. Anonymous called in and asked, "What's your plan, economy, in case you become president?" Now, the economy is the most important aspect of governance because the economy is us. It is our participation. It is the people. The economy is the people participating in activity. I'll tell you, from 2021, when President Hakainde and his UPND came into power, up to today, this country has lost over 10 billion United States dollars in illicit financial flows. Okay? UPND has tolerated the outflows up to over $10 billion. How much money we owe as a country? The same money that we refer to as our debt. Maybe with the addition that UPND has borrowed, we are probably talking about 15 billion, 16 billion thereabout. But you are losing 10 billion in 4 years, and yet you are failing to pay 12 billion. When UPND came into power, we were sitting at $12 billion. So we should not even cry about the 12 billion because that is a non-issue. So we have to deal with illicit financial flows with precision. How do you do that? The information is available. Where the players are known because even the which come from the intelligence center are clear. Tell you who is involved, what channels are involved, and so forth. You can't fail to plug all of those gaps. It's deliberate. Then deal with corruption. Okay? Corruption in this country has been, as if we are telling people for palliative. There's no more curative measures. We just have to go on a palliative couch. We've got to deal with corruption decisively. You can't have a country where people can steal medicine donated to a country. The American ambassador cried on TV, crying that they have stopped funding the health sector because government has facilitated the theft of medicine. No. You can't. The procurement in the agriculture sector is pathetic. You've got to deal with all of those things. And even the policies that you promulgate and institute in all of these sectors, mining sector, the taxation policies, you've got to make sure that all of these policies speak to empowering of this nation. But where are my priorities? My priority number one is in agriculture, because we have the land and we have the weather. In most cases, we have the correct. That is my priority number one. And if you look at government spending in agriculture, it's very easy because I have most of the budgets here. I can tell you, government spending in agriculture right now, on the budget right now is, where are you? So you have 9 billion kwacha for input support program. 9 billion kwacha has been provided for 2026 for input support program. And then have 2 billion kwacha for the marketing. So what government is telling you is that they will put more money into production, into the poor farmers who have no markets. And then when the farmers produce the produce which cost them 9 billion, they only deploy 2 billion to support the marketing. What type of thinking is that? If the numbers were in the opposite, it makes sense. Because for me, you have to put in a cost and get more money as yield. But this government continues to think in the same traditional way, and that tells you that you are with this kind of traditional budgeting. So I am not that person who will think like this, and I am not that person who will produce this kind of projection. Next to that is my tourism. I know that Zambia is strong in Southern Province, particularly in Livingstone, when it comes to tourism. I know that Zambia is strong in Sanfia. I am going to develop Kasaba Bay. When Kasaba Bay, I will ensure that we create jobs in that sector that are sustainable. Kasaba is my priority number one when it comes to tourism in this country. So when we have Livingstone, Sanfia, Kasaba Bay, and we begin to look at other areas of tourism, we'll be able to promote our country. And then I'll pay a lot of attention to mining. Mining is traditional in our country, but we will be looking at mining for benefiting the country in a fair way, not the way it is. The other important aspect is logistics. So this would be my concentration. In the first 1 or 2 years, 3 years, we should be able to ensure that these areas, their tangible benefits are accruing to the Zambian people. President Hakainde, when he was speaking in Choma, what did he tell the people? This is when we have started working. Now, you have already done 4 years. This is the final year, and this is when you are telling people that we've just started working. What were you doing the past 4 years? So, I'll be like HH, and I would never come to speak in fashion. What was the question there on North America for the love of hidden agendas and so on? Well, Ambassador, I am happy this program is live. A lot of people have spoken to the need for the former Vice President, our mother, to step in and help. I think these are views that can be expressed, and it is clear that myself, I could pass on the views to our honor, the former Vice President, and we have heard the views that have been expressed about Honorable Lubinda. These are views that I am able to explain directly, but if he listened to the program, it would even be of an advantage. So yes, I'll just end by saying the environment is hard. It has been made hard by the standards of UPND, but we are here for the Zambian people. We are here to solve the problem. And let's not be rigid. Let us be mentally flexible, knowing that options will be generated and options will be evaluated, and the best option will be chosen, and that option will lead us, all of us, to where we are trying to go.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Today we're hosting Honorable Mtoto Kafwaya. He was speaking to the issues of the country, issues of the party, and his aspiration as presidential candidate in the PF. He explained issues of the conclave, what's happening, issues of discipline in the party, but he was very broad. He didn't want to discuss any specific matters. And thank you for all specific matters. I will take some calls, but I'm allowing you to leave, Honorable Mtoto Kafwaya, because we have a team there. Let me just set up in a manner that it doesn't affect you as you leave. Yeah. Thank you. So we'll let Honorable Mtoto Kafwaya leave, and I'll take some more calls for those that want to speak.
Law and order. Twali wambulaji. Mwalunga mujoma mwakwela basi weyakulusaga intercity. Guseluka buyombo oselukira ate basi awakujoma ate. Vimenye nivi. Batoka kuchoma hivi. Vimenye nivi. Ati tundu mwezi. Singombe wakabape abantu bali kumwa ati tundu mwezi. Ati mbaba hota maningi kuhotela akaende. Hamuba ome ku intercity. Sunu yakaba yamwe yakakuba mola liendela mbomu yanda intercity kunyina omuguma wamuguma ndamwanga banyina bene wabalyawe. Zambia. So many things. Although we've done, there are many more things to be done. Tujiyagumbere kuberega. Not wataligo, not waganka kuberegono. We've just started working now. We've just started. There's a lot more work to be done. Nyambose Ulia, Kujasef, he needs more schools, more classrooms, more desks, more teachers. Work to be done. Mungandu Ulia.
Okay, callers, we are hosting Honorable Mtoto Kafwaya. I've just allowed him to leave. The team is in Lusaka. They need to leave where we're hosting him from. And but a lot of people are calling and they wanted to say a few things. You know, this program is about you. So I always go a mile away just to get your view. So let me quickly get all those that wanted to say anything. Yes, caller, please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
Thank you very much. I'm anonymous and I'm calling you from Tanzania.
Yes, my brother.
I'm AI. Thank you very much, my brother. I've got a few concerns that I want to put forward. The first thing is that people of Zambia are worried over the state of the opposition in our country, and more especially members of the Patriotic Front, we are distressed and in a state of confusion over this level of confusion that is at play, even at this last hour. PF is not bankrupt of credible leaders. When I look around the PF, I find very strong leaders all over. Very strong, capable leaders. This Honorable Dr. Kafwaya. These are sound, impeccable leaders. Why you people are failing to sit down and come up with one leader? Why you are being so played by President Hakainde Hichilema? I'm failing to understand. You see, you're making me now think exactly what Michael Sata used to say. What you are saying here, what you need to understand here is that there's nothing orderly you are going to do under the leadership of President Hakainde Hichilema. You need to work in an extraordinary manner. You have been fighting to have a convention you have not held it. It's because you want to play things by the book. There's nothing you're going to play by the book here. You need to come up with a solid leader as things stand now. This is the 11th hour. If today Trump came in, helped you to sort out this mess, who are we going to put as the next opposition? Zambia needs a solid opposition. For democracy to function, you need a strong opposition. But as things stand today, everybody wants to be a leader. Here you are firing each other, appointing each other, and firing each other. Unfortunately, Ambassador Emmanuel Mwamba, leadership is taking responsibility. Unfortunately, that's how leadership is. You need to take responsibility. Even when there's been at the helm of the Patriotic Front. There's been at the helm of the Patriotic Front from the time Eddie Galungo was there. Eddie Galungo was forced to come back into active politics when he realized that things were not right in the party. Why are we continuing dancing around it, dancing around? What possibility do we have now that we are going to defeat this man? The state of the Ministry of Health in our country has completely collapsed, Ambassador Emmanuel Mwamba. Right now, as I'm talking to you, in all government hospitals in Zambia, we don't have any consumables for dialysis patients. Dialysis patients are being retained right now. And that is when you, as opposition leaders, are busy dancing around here and there. People are dying right now in these hospitals. The entire sound health system left by Dr. Sampa has completely collapsed in our country. NEMA has completely collapsed. And you opposition leaders are busy dancing around. This one fighting each other. Given Rubinda must take responsibility of the mess that is there. Jezia Banda was telling you that Eddie Galungu left Given Rubinda to be a kingmaker, not for him to start contesting. You needed somebody who is a father figure in the patriotic front. You saw how President Michael Sata sorted out this issue. You, as an opposition leader, you have really a mess. You have disappointed us. We are very much disappointed. Particularly me, my brother, I'm very disappointed. I'm in a state of delusion. You are firing Shoni Tembo. Shoni Tembo was coming up. He was explaining issues nicely. Why can't you all come to? You can't all pass at the door. You only have one door. You all can't be one president. You all can't be president at the same time. If you have failed, all of you, why don't you come together and bring in Maduro? Why don't you bring in Maduro? Why don't you bring in Johnson? If you have become so selfish and greedy that all of you want to be president, what are the, please, Ambassador Emmanuel Mwamba, allow me to warn these people. You don't know what you are dealing with. You people, when I look at you, you absolutely have no idea of what Aga in the HLM is capable of doing. Even what he's doing, he has locked most of you. They are in cells right now. And even that, he can't teach you anything. What will follow from here is that all of you are going to go in. All of you will be locked up. If you are not careful, because it's like you are failing to think straight. At this hour, we need to have one person who is coming up so strongly. For example, when you look at the organizational skills and everything, look at Brian Mundu. Brian Mundu is coming up also. Your members are simply looking for any one of you who has DNA of PF in the blood. You have PF is preferred because you have got solid members everywhere. Your structures are intact.
Thank you, my brother. Thank you, my brother.
Brian Mundu is coming up with the organizational skills everywhere. We are seeing him. There is no order that will come if you're going to wait for order for Againde to allow you to have a convention and choose yourself. You are cheating yourself. Againde is not going to allow you to do that. You need to start thinking in an extraordinary manner. So, Honorable Ambassador Mwamba, please, I'm terribly disappointed with the opposition. I'm terribly. I didn't know that you people would be so disillusioned in the patriotic front. Or maybe there's something that I'm not saying. Ambassador Emmanuel Mwamba, am I live?
Yes, you are, my brother. You are.
Hello?
Yes, you are live. Oh, but I think his views have been expressed. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
Yes, this is Anonymous.
Anonymous, make your contributions.
Yes, thank you so much. Happy New Year, Ambassador Mwamba.
Happy New Year to you too.
Sure, thank you. Yes, Ambassador Mwamba, thank you so much for the program. And we really heard what Honorable Mutato Kafaya has said. I think he has said a lot of important things. But just to make my contribution, I think currently the PF, is dead. And the reason why the PF is dead is because the top leadership are not listening to the people or the grassroots. I remember very well in 2023, on Independence Day, when all these Imingalatos started, I think people were confused and they came in. We gave advice that, please, can we countrywide petition? Can we all rise so that these people do not take advantage of us? And we were told, no, you see, let's do things according to the law and all those stuff.
okay, we waited from 2023, 2024, 2025, now in 2026. What as the law, that the same person whom we say that we do things according to the law, is the one that is controlling the entire judiciary. So if the people from the 2023, they rose and they protested, I don't think would have gone this far. From 2021 to date, there has never been people where they are united and stood with one voice, apart from the 5th of 5th of January, when Archbishop our Archbishop Alec Banda was going for for those interviews. That's when everyone came and was united. But why is it that when we wanted to stand for the PF, for it not to be stolen, people are saying, no, let's not protest and all those stuff. Why? Because there's a bit of disunity from the top leadership. If people had risen that time, I don't think would have been in this way. We proposed of the protest, we proposed about the virtual conference so that people can do it. Because currently, I don't think the PF will be allowed to have a physical conference. And the virtual conference is the key. But up to now, it's 3 years for 2023. It's now 3 years. The conference is not happening, and people now.
Thank you, my brother. I think you've made it very clear. Let me just take other calls that are waiting. Yes. Yes.
Hello?
Yes.
Yeah. So now, when it comes to strategies, the PF is also lacking one thing. I think we don't have strategies that can help the party to do to strategize properly. Why am I saying so? Because we are playing church whilst the ruling party is doing a lot of imingalato.
Thank you.
Let us not play church. Yes.
Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
Hello, Ambassador Mwabombeni.
Hello, Mwabombeni.
Hello?
Yes.
I'm quiet. Example, Shakova Kafwaya. Bushe ichipani chesu cha PF. Constitution yalanda chani yali suminisha umuntu register spy kuba president, futa register act as a president. Because actually for given Lubinganavo now ichipani, but the conflict of interest. Then Ikale as brothers, who were Shen Mundo Vile, Nganaluba, Landeni inside, Bush Shanye. A person to not feel a background of nobody for another. But given Lubin the Batulanga dictatorship over Quada. Became you then the Mupief to a papa to that way to go either. All put with the Mupief and the given Lubin that believe me. It's very easy. Now I don't have leadership here where you are poor. Thank you.
Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
This is from Livingston.
Oh, yes, Wamwewa.
There's no way na where the first bamtoteka for $1 and then on PF on the way forward, dear PF, that's the PF they recover. But UPND, that about to shoot since 2021 up to now. And I want to have another that
yes, continue, my brother.
Sorry, Mwamba. So what I'm saying is that Tuarira Sanokovati, no, by Upendi Bare to Chitechi, by Upendi Bare to Chitefi, looking at Yama Pepa Pani, internal angles, Yam PF, we are still saying by Upendi Bare Chitefi. No, but I want to know what Upendi Bare Chitefi. I'll give you one example. There was one time now with a challenge in one business where Muntu was saying a solar unit. The problem so much of Marisambo kufita. So no muntu na shitreku ale shupo kulanshana na nkwe. So what I did was nasa mnoko okay it's not which page then one pay ale shupa. What should I do? Should my business continue suffering? I had to sacrifice to buy a new unit. as I was waiting for the other guy to do it. Help me out. So nichimuchini. So tulerira twayupendina batushupa na batushupa. Bayupendina tuishwana batushupa. Nama Zambians no mbida chibanaka. Umfatu bayupendina batushupa. Bonsera beishwatu bayupendina batushupa. But let us have a plan. Weka. Yotwala konka without the hindrance of the UPND. I think that's one way that we can move forward. And then the other thing about I'm not very comfortable with the political party and the one that was supposed to be our special purpose vehicle, NCP. NCP wa Mwamba, ile bonfiumu tuwaba Edgarongo Muchawama. And then the candidate waba NCP, alirando kwebo kuchirati, batasira bari akwate palo kuri batasira. So, and we have seen clearly that NCP under Bachanda voted Bill 7 and they actually came live to support Bill 7, including the MP of Eastern Province who are NCP. Voted Bill 7 na Chanda winare support Bill 7. Now, why is he using portrait of Edgarungu Muchawama? And what can we do about it, Bamwamba? Otherwise, that is also something saddening because it's like why UPND number Bambo NCP to destabilize the PF further. I need a serious ruling on that one, not just.
Okay, thank you very much. Hello, caller. Let me just take now the last 3 calls. At least na mileka mwape maini na nende atusha. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
I want to conclude my phone had cut because you.
No, I cut you because you had expressed yourself. But quickly make your conclusion.
My conclusion is that please, we are begging Ambassador Emmanuel Mwamba that
yes,
let this patriotic front leaders sort out this mess that is happening. People of Zambia are waiting for a leader that can come up, stop the fighting and come up with one leader. Because you need to understand clearly the enemy you are fighting. This Akainde Ichirema, you are not going to fight him as individual political parties in this country. There is no individual political party that is going to defeat Akainde Ichirema. Akainde Ichirema has a deep pocket. These political parties, Ambassador Emmanuel, but they are broke, they have got no money. And you can't match the bottomless pocket of Akainde Ichirema. That's why we are saying, put all your resources together and come up.
Oh, Anonymous is cut, but I think his views are also very clear, is that the opposition must not play games. This is a very serious matter. Hello, caller, please tell us your name and where you're calling us from.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening.
Hello.
Good evening. You're on the Februino.
Yeah, good evening. James ku Zambia.
But James, make your contributions.
In the first place, Chakto therapy program Mwatre kwa Mwamba. Ine advice ngakwati yako bati. La PF mfirimo ya ku virtual conference virtual elect at least not one candidate. One candidate ita split. Mukaisara at least 4 top candidates. Ila wa 4 top candidates wakati hand over kuri program Mwamba kusala a national carry for abali side one candidate akakwata fe PF character. In short, akakwata era 1.8 million voters y'abalungu ngaya kumene program ukusalwa nama phone calls here and there. Alifai another about 1.2 million votes for somebody to win a national character. Afuyakota number 3.something million votes. So it's not enough for kusala fiati wa PF ngawina akawina na national national election. So just select at least 4 candidates. They will be interviewed, one by one like that, and people will be voting. That's why you come up with at least you come up with at least number 4 top candidates with national character. Out of the 4, to my number 1 and number 2, but percent of PF structures. In short, they are assured of 1.8. Then number 3 and 4, they now by a party more. So but you don't put all the eggs in one basket. I don't know, and then you get moving. The racing with these 2 parties. Number national alignment.
Oh, this line is cutting. Hello, caller, please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
Yes, my Emmanuel, Ambassador, I'm calling from Zambia.
Yes, my dear brother, make your contributions. Introduce yourself and make your contributions.
Yes, I will remain anonymous too. And I'm a member of PF. I'm also seconding the virtual conference ambassador, but I'm not proposing that the candidates should be 4. They should be 3, meaning that the first one, ukakwata points ya Fidel kuba president. The second one, running mate. The third one, secretary general. Ninshibaka ba strong because mukaba muri imwe presidential candidates. Secretary general are key. Then running mate are key na president. Nomba kwena abalenga fiancé fili mona ngutwanda timba UPND. President, acting president baluinda kale kuwata mpira kitwale shiguka fe pamupeli bamwamba kale mwali pireze 9 icyalengele delay chinshi na lero bale chirale ta fe delay so January if you fear my dates ya kutsikufila bako fe let's have the general conference akwata abantu abali credible bachitaluchirufya especially if we were support bachitaluchirufya tabakwate confusion. It is quite clean in PF. Is a man who is humble. Why can't we see him at PF? So that's why we are saying, kupangama parallel structure, kwenda tachiweme. Nomba tatuwa tala mwapo kwenda confusion, if we ba support chitaluchirufya Emmanuel. We need such people. So, virtual conference ile fai kwa baka sala bantu 3 ama provincial committees was kukwata the same basala ku main conference kusaka bale chitatoto. Very simple. Ni world of technology. But why are we so slow? Fiancé finibalu na suspensions there we tabata kumana ma meetings ba central committee elo mwalando umuntu achita iskaupetu mwine. Solution yes takulekano kumuta discipline but first we push ni mukalipileni warning kwa first second na final warning. Joseph atafibomba. Thank you so much for this opportunity, Ambassador.
Thank you very much. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you're calling us from. Mkwaiba Munkonge.
Question yangu nomba chief yobuno. Achirafa yokuwa bena po wale na because na chibepsha question yakwe batushe. Oro mwamwe no kwa direct time ofeta mure chitako nomba mweba imini na nishita mwara ndire before intunguru chitakira na nomba it's fine. Chief ambassador ngaranda kofi. Apart fure tu abatinga. Ngatuwaroresha sana pama candidates besunga turefu kwata advantage. Percentage fure tu akonga sana tufure tu amono kweba chushe. Pali abama candidate. Ushayina nyuko ite aba ama namba ikuru ishiria mupati ile mufwaya. Apo tufure tu aroresha kota na ambassador lero. Chirongano na chena tali basana important. Elio tingepe ngamemba ko ambassador yumulumendo grassroots net shimba ambile kwa 3 days ago ama phone call zikula kutesha abantu ali bura ma candidate na support kwati batrukia bajali panga ma elections so ili ana ufire ko ya mairo wa maketi duru ba ko 39 wa Brian mundu 34 ya lero ishishire na lero achira votation. So if you want to feel money be serious. To konka sa. But number one, ichikankara members wa PF wa support sana. Verolesha sana kwa muntu bale support upati. Kufema members tube sana silent. Tumfwe ko kuri bali kuma nani members. Ushe muntu nshbalera ndapo. Barabe nebe ngatupera clear picture. Leronga twakonka kuma structures yeso ato green ireranga nyishi twarafimbwa pamenso bakwire babanga ibo bamwamba bonze ko tufire twaba papa tufikire tufire twaba paka titu twabena zambe ko barera ndapo tufire twakwata na information kurutana before taturaisa mupati tuipera abantu information ku bantu bena tukenda kuna chisuma mbaka.
Thank you very much, Mwantu Akwalesa. You have to forgive me. At least I gave you 30 minutes more to make your views known. I do not like going with so many missed calls. There are missed calls, but at least we allowed some more people to make the phone calls. We are back on the marathon. Today we are hosting Honorable Mtotwe Kafwaya. I've lined up Honorable Grayford Monde. We had agreed that he should be coming on the 9th. So I think he's the one that is next. And whoever is willing to come, I've sent a request to Honorable Binwe Umpundu. This month, we just want to dedicate to presidential candidates. We go back to the issue of picking, exposing the leaders to you so that you see what their thoughts are, what their prospects for our country are, their sacrifices, to stand as president. So we'll be lining them up. I think the next candidate is Honorable Grayford Monde, and we'll let you know others that will have confirmed. So God bless you. See you tomorrow, and wish you well. Sleep well. Pray for our country and pray for our leaders. God bless you.
Kwenyu ndemwe chabe mabanja ona njala mkomo ndalama zonse mutumbalano masukwa kuchuluka pa mutupatu. Time is up, kwenyu not enough. Time is up, for your lies and bluff. Time is up, kwenyu not enough. Time is up, for your lies and bluff. Kanizanu ndizo panda pindu anakulira miseu mwatu tikufuna chilengedwe chatsopano osati mapoke tanu opindika ndalama. Listen to the cries, they're louder than your lies. You can't silence the truth. It's time for the youth. Time is up, kwenyu is not enough. Time is up, for your lies and bluff. Time is up, kwenyu is not enough. Time is up, for your lies and bluff. We rise, we stand, we fight together for the children, for a better forever. When you kunata pano, we take the rain. Tikonza jiko.